Alright, hi guys, welcome to this new video I'm doing on my old stuff. I had an old project going on called the towninator, where you use this to keep track of your towns and your um, in your settlements, or like in your sessions in D&D and stuff. I want to take you through the new element that I have made for this game since I last made it, because some stuff has been um, developed a bit since. But let's start at the beginning. We will do a town, and I will show you how to do it and how the new stuff like comes in. So the first thing we will do is to roll a town size, and we will get like how old it is and how many inhabitants. So we will take a 6-sided die. You roll it. I got a 4. So we will, let me just do like so. We will now fill in this stuff up here. So the size is a D4, which gives us a town. So size, town. We'll get some category dice, I'll mention those later. But for now, we have a town. We need to see how old it is, and a town can be at minimum 700 years old. So let's make it 701. Then we have inhabitants, and a town can have at maximum 25,000. And at minimum 1001. So let's have 1002. What we will do now is we will roll categories. And each city have this sheet. And over here in the gray box is our categories. So a category can be crime, culture, order, production, and so on. So since we roll a town, we get different dice from if we roll like a hamlet-sized town, or if we rolled like a capital. So we get, let me just see, we get 46 plus 1, we get 48 plus 2, we get 1d10 plus 4, and we get a d12 plus 5. So let's start by do the d6s. So we have 4 d6, let me just write it here. 46 plus 1. We have 4 d8 plus 2. We have 1 d10 plus 4. And we have 2d12 plus 5. All right. So now we will roll a number with the dice we have available, and we will assign this to any one of the categories. We can only assign one dice to one category, and when it has been assigned, we can't like give it another number. So let's roll a d6, and we got a 6. We rolled a 6 and we add 1. So let's say we put a 7 in military. So that was 1. Roll again. A 2 plus 1, that's 3. Up there, so that's 2. A 4 plus 1, 5. Let's place it right there. And we got a 6 again. That's 7. Let's place it in production. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the first one here. We got 48 plus 2. Let's roll one here. It's a 7, gives us a 9, so let's place that in culture. We have a 6. Let's go down at the bottom. We have some worship here. Let's see what we get in worship. We get a 5. Let me see. Was that in 2? One more. And we got a 9 this time. Let's put that in recreation. Now we will roll a d10 and add 4. So we have our d10. roll a 4 and add 4. So that's 8. Place that in order. Now we have 2d12, which we will place in trade and wealth. So let's see. We got a 6 plus 5, which gives us 11. And we have a 2 plus 5, which gives us 7. So we actually rolled quite poorly, sorry to say. Let me just delete this. All right. So now we have roll our categories, and we will continue to do the development points. So development points are a way to track your players' interaction with this town specifically. The development points are seen on top of each category. We have 3 development points that can track stages of development. It could just be anything in the town, really. But most importantly, development points only activates when players do something. So it's a way to track your players' behavior in this town and how the town develops or like declines into madness because your players do stuff. All right. So we will roll a 4-sided dice now, and I'll roll a 3. So crime is developing. That's good. We roll a 2 here. We roll a 4, which gives us a 7 here, because we can't do 4 up here, and it like proceeds to the next level. Health. Let's roll. That's a 6. Military. 2 development points. Order, we get a 9. And now we will actually roll decently. So that's 2 development points. 4, we get a 12. We get a 4 again. 8. And worship. That's 1. So not the most religious town we have here. So the next thing we will do is to add our terrain to this town. So where is this town placed in the world? What we will do now is we will grab a 20-sided dice first. So let's roll and see what we get. I rolled a 15. And a 15 gives us a river. So this town is placed on a river. And rivers are like the bedrock of civilization, which means that we get a lot of points that we can distribute. We get actually 4 category points. Just for the fun of it, let's say that this made crime go way up because pirates and stuff. So the next thing we can do is to add a subcategory to this terrain. You could stop here and say it's near a river, or you can also roll a 4-sided die. So let's just do that. Roll the 1, and it's actually placed on small islands. Small islands, which gives us nothing basically. But if you got something that either gave you minus points or positive points, you will add those to the development point of one category. Only one category. All right, let's proceed. We have some buildings. All right, we have some buildings over here. I will only do one category just to, as an example, because we have a lot to go through. Let's see, we have crime. Let's take another one. It doesn't matter really. Just let's do trade. So trade have 12. We have that and round down. No, we have it and round up. So in this sense, we get 6 points that we can distribute in 5 building types. And what I mean by building types is that if I place a 2 here, we have a market in this town now, and this market is simple. So The number represents the quality of that building type. But it does not mean that we only have one market. It only means that one market in this town is of the simple quality, and that's the max. If we have 6 points, so let's just do like so. Now we could have multiple markets, and one of them, at least one of them, is of excellent quality. And let's have an auction house. One poor auction house, which probably is why crime is thriving so much. All right, let's see. That was the trade. You have to do this for all categories, basically. The next thing we will do is to roll the city's specialty. So this city will have one of 6 specialties. It's in the rule book, but let me just mention it's agricultural, it's cultural, education, industrial, mercantile, and militaristic. So we could either choose it or we could roll it. So the obvious thing is to roll it, because the obvious thing is that this is a mercantile town, but it would be funny to see it being agricultural. So we've got a 4, which is industrial. So now we will write industrial right here. Now this gives us some more things to do. So by rolling industrial, I can pick one of 3 categories and add 1 to them. So I can choose from production, wealth, and trade. So we have production. Let's add 1 to wealth. So that's a 9. And if I added a point to a category, that means that I got another point for building, I will add that as well. And I will subtract 1 from health. So let's see, this is a 5 then. I also add +1 to 2 of the following buildings. So I can choose inn, which is in culture, statue, which is in wealth, a jeweler is production, and bath is recreation. So I could have a number here, which then I will add +1 to it. And likewise up here in culture, I could add +1 to inn. It wouldn't say +1, it could say 4, and I add it to be a 5, basically. All right, so you will do that for everything, basically. Now you will like add some NPCs right here. You'll add import and export. Come up with some ideas. I don't have table for it right now, but I'm working on a table where you can roll import and export. And the last thing which is new is up here. So we have fame. Fame is, it can be a way for how a town reviews newcomers. So you will roll this in the beginning. And right now I don't have a roll table available, but we have some fame levels basically. And let's say this starts out as neutral. All right, which gives us 0 over here. So neutral doesn't affect anything. But if your players were to become more loyal and do good things around this town, they will become more famous. So the next step from neutral is friendly. So we have friendly right here. Right? That's how you spell friendly. And that gives us +1. So now when your players do stuff, remember when they interact with a category of town, they will get 1 development point. Now if they are friendly with the town, you'll add 1 to that development point. So if they did something for education, and you would basically say, oh, that's a good thing, they help develop education in this town, you'll get 1 development point, and since they're friendly with the town, you'll get another 1. And you can see where that is going. what is also important to remember is that you can become infamous. And infamous gives you -3 to development points. So if you were to give, let's say, culture 1 development point, you'll subtract 3 from that. So that gives you -2. But since you did something good, something bad stuff happened because you're infamous, and actually education like plummeted in this town. And that's basically what I have so far. I hope you liked it. Draw a nice little town map here. Just have a lot more of it. You'll give it a name. Recent events is something you can add to it as well. And that's what I have so far. Please, if you have any questions or like ideas for this stuff, I would love to know it. So shoot me a message on my email or find me somewhere else. I'm everywhere.